Nice. Nice. Tom has a theory. We were talking this morning, don't you, Tom? I like it. I think you may be onto something, buddy. He thinks that the hitters, now this isn't a complaint because they're winning these games, but he thinks the hitters lose focus on the midweek games based on the lack of run production in those games compared to the weekend games against ACC foes. Is that right? That's the theory?
Listen to you putting me on Front Street to start the show.
That was a good one. I like it. They won the game last night. We're not complaining. We're just talking.
I think it's curious that, in the non-Florida midweek games, they're not run ruling people. They're not dropping a dozen. They do that on the weekends a lot of the time. Notre Dame is a notable exception. But mostly when they play big-time opponents, man, those bats come to the party. And Stetson was a 1-0 game. Bethune-Cookman yesterday was a bit of a struggle, nothing crazy. And then, of course, on Tuesday against Jacksonville, it took them a little while to get going as well. So, I mean, it's not a giant complaint, but it is interesting to see. Maybe it's just that Florida's pitching sucks that much. Maybe that's what it is. I believe Florida A&M dropped 7 or 8 runs on them, something like that, on Tuesday. So maybe it's just the Gators' arms are that terrible that we can drop 12 just by showing up. And hopefully we do that again next Tuesday.
That's funny. That's interesting. I don't know what it is. It is funny the way that works. So long as they win the games and they play good defense and they pick up the ball and they're pitching well. You got a plethora of guys in the bullpen that have pitched well in these games. So at the end, get down or lay down. Jeff showing off the guns. Must be Thirst Trap Thursday for the ladies on the JCS. Well, what a nice thing in the Heiselican Law Firm chat right off the bat, right? There we go. That's kind. No. Thirst Trap Thursday starts next week. Get down or lay down. I'll be wearing a tank top and a Speedo, set of Speedos. There you go. That's what we'll do. And I'll raise the seat. All right. They win. They keep on winning. Team's good. Can't wait for this weekend. Although it's going to be snowing in Boston, right, when they go? I think I read that.
Probably so. It's right now currently here a few hours south of Boston. It is 43. Wind chill makes it feel like 35. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Michael asks a question right off the bat that I think is good because I'm going to segue to football. DJ Lundy interview stated that the offense wouldn't match up against a better defense than what they see with our defense in practice. Would you agree or disagree with that, Jeff? Well, I like that he has confidence and a high opinion of our defense. No, I think Miami's defense will be similar to our defense. I think it's a good defensive team. I think Notre Dame's a good defensive team. Anybody else that you would really say that they're going to match up with this year's schedule where you think that it would be better than our defense? I think our defense is going to be good.
Better is a tough word right now.
Yeah, I think so too. Right?
As good as I think I'm more comfortable with. I mean, the secondary, I believe, I'm on record. There's a video that we have out on the channel right now of you guys talking about it on headlines. We discussed it on Smash. I think corner is going to be better than last year. Secondary remains to be seen because I think Akeem Dent, even though he wasn't healthy in the first couple thirds of the season, there was a difference between having him on the field and not having him on the field.
Without question. Getting people lined up.
Corner, they're better. Defensive tackle, they have a chance to be as good on the front line. Just the starting two, Farmer and Jackson. You got a chance to be as good as you were last year. Defensive end, it's tough to expect that you're as good as you were with Jared Verse, but you're going to be deeper at that position. So it comes down to linebacker to determine just how good this defense is relative to the others. But they're right there. They're in the neighborhood with Clemson. They're in the neighborhood with Notre Dame and Miami. I think they absolutely are. Yeah.
I was going to say Clemson is the team that I should have started with. Annually, that defense is really good. They've got good players. They're well coached. They are typically very, very good defensively. So it's a good question. It makes me think about where our defense is going to be. When that question came up about having seen practice, and somebody originally, this was early in the week, asked the question, it was for headlines. Somebody asked the question, what position group is going to be definitively better? Like what group, is there a group out there that has a chance to be better than any of the last year's segment groups? And I just don't know how the hell we didn't answer offensive line.
Yeah, so this is where I think my performance on the Smash was outstanding because I mentioned corner and then I said, can I go granular with guard? With guard. Now tackle, I think tackle could be better. it probably should be better if Byers develops. That's 1-for-1, same player gets better, so that's good. And Darius can be your anchor at left. So perhaps you could say the entirety of the offensive line, the guard was where it was lacking last year. Weren't as good at guard. And if it's both Leonard and Ferguson playing for you there, or you like another solution at tackle and you can bump Darius inside to play guard, like there's a chance that the entirety of the offensive line is better. But I do think interior could be a little bit more consistent, a lot more consistent. I thought it would be an improvement in 23 over 2022. I was wrong about that. Hopefully 2024 is the year it gets better.
I think the entirety of the offensive line will be better. I think they've got answers. I think they've got now. They weren't good last year, so that doesn't mean much. They weren't. I didn't think the offensive line was very good last year. It's funny. We get into the big picture conversations of what the team will be, and it inspires a lot of debate. I like that aspect of these conversations in spring. In spring, everybody is hopeful, as you should be. Hope springs eternal. But I think that realistically, if we're trying to dig deep and figure out areas that'll be better or worse, it is harder this year because there aren't as many known commodities, but at the same time, I think the potential at almost every position is there. The potential is there for a lot of people to play at a higher level than some of the guys did a year ago. That's not a knock on a team that went 13-0. I just like that this whole talent thing has gotten to a point where we could project realistically that, hey, this guy might be more skillful or faster or bigger or stronger. Like you can do that at a lot of positions. You can do it at wide receiver. I don't know that anybody's going to play that position this year better than Keon Coleman did last year or Johnny Wilson did last year. But I don't think it's crazy to suspect someone's talent level of being equal to or even surpassing some of the guys that are on last year's offense at all.
I agree. And again, I think part of the discussion also about what's better is, are you talking about on paper NFL combine numbers, or are you talking about relative health over 12 games across all position groups? I mean, there's development, there's variety, and then there's also health. And I think since you've got more options, like specifically, I could argue that the defensive line might be better than it was last year because you've got more options and therefore guys play fresher. It doesn't mean that you've got a frontline player like Jared Verse. Patrick Payton might be that player. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. But if you can rotate, and instead of us, biting our fingernails that a couple of defensive ends are in there for 20 to 25 snaps a game, and that second wave is in there for 30 to 35 because they're good, it might make the entirety of the unit better because everybody plays fresher for the entirety of the season. So there's a lot of ways it could go this year. It's very early, but we like what we see on the hoof from this team because they're impressive that way.
Yeah, I like the secondary a lot. I keep going back to that. That's an area that I would say definitively will probably be better. And that's weird to say because, as people will point out, well, let's do this. I think that one of the guys who is a known commodity who played last year, was part of that secondary, is going to be a big reason why they're better this year. It's not a newcomer. It's not about the competition or the speed or anything else. It's that I think there's a renewed, commitment maybe. I think I'm playing the role of an amateur psychiatrist a lot these days. Ventrell Cypress looks like a different player. Ventrell Cypress does not look like the guy that started for us last year. Every one of these days, he's been great. He's just been great. He's the guy. The way he's playing currently in practice is the guy we thought we were getting last year that came over from Virginia. I was underwhelmed by Ventrell Cypress last year. I thought he was average. I don't think he did anything special. I didn't see what it was. I didn't see the skill set or the talent that made him one of the best corners in the ACC when he was at Virginia. And I was a little pissed off by that. I was frustrated. I was like, well, what's going on here? This guy comes over here. He's got more talent around him, and he gets worse. And I won't be able to answer that. I suppose I could ask him, but it's kind of insulting to do so. He looks like a different guy. Maybe he wasn't healthy. I don't know the answer to that. Maybe he wasn't 100%. Maybe he just had a hard time getting acclimated, and now he's totally comfortable with the way Florida State operates and his role in the defense and the way they work out and what the schedule is and all that stuff. It could be. Sometimes guys take a little while to get acclimated to new surroundings. Maybe that's what it was. Who knows? But he looks like a different player altogether.
It's a positive development, and that's why I'm thinking that corner specifically could be better than last year. And it's not like for Fentrell, you know, the reputation, dare I say it, the Pro Football Focus grade. When somebody comes into town like that, you think that that might be your lockdown player. And when corners go bad, I feel like you're saying they're killing us. Every time they're on the field, they're killing us.
No,
And
no.
we had a guy in there last year who wasn't 100%, Kevin Knowles, who, when he was out there, you noticed he was out there because a lot of plays went his direction and a lot of plays weren't made one-on-one, open space. And we find out in the offseason that he was pretty banged up, but I also think he was playing out of position. He's a lot better as a natural corner. But you noticed him in the negative way. I didn't feel that way about Fentrell. It was just like he was whatever. You know, I
Yeah, it
wasn't.
was nondescript.
We weren't coming to the post game show saying how about Fentrell Cypress, but we also weren't coming to the post game show saying, well, they got to find another option there at corner. So if he can be something closer to the lockdown to go along with AZ Thomas, man, that's a great way to start things because AZ already is more of a ball hawk. If Fentrell can become something along those lines, that's when you work in concert with your defensive front and turnovers happen. We're not picking the ball off as much as I feel like we could or should. And it's a player like AZ Thomas and maybe an improved Fentrell Cypress that could change that a little bit.
We get questions about Greedy Vance because some of the players have said flattering things about Greedy. I laugh a little bit at the idea of Destin Hill and Hakeem saying that Greedy's the toughest guy to go against. Well, it's because he grabs. It's because he holds. It's nobody grabs you like Greedy Vance. I've never seen a guy take more liberties at that position than Greedy Vance. I mean, he just straight up holds you on every play. And it's disconcerting because you figure that's going to get called in a game more than it does in practice. We'll see. We'll see. He can be an effective player. I'm not telling you he's devoid of skill, but man, is he handsy. That would be the guy that if you were a receiver having to go against on a regular basis, you would likely end up with a fight at some point, in a fight at some point. He'd be the guy that you'd be like, now, bitch, get your hands off of me. I'm done with this.
Yeah, it's the handsy guy in a pickup game of basketball or who is bumping into you. You're at the top of the key. We're not in the post. We're not in the post. And you're going to get down in that position like your boy Nicky Cass. You're going to get down in that position. Well, what are you doing? Are you throwing your pelvis at me? What are we doing here, my man?
Yeah.
This is pickup ball. This is the neighborhood court.
Having a good time. Chill the hell out. Yeah.
You can check without going crazy, my man.
Yeah.
This is not necessary, but you're right. You know who was doing that an awful lot earlier in his career too was Jerrion. But then somehow I don't know if it's Surtain. I don't know if it's a combination. Mike Norvell has gone on record saying that Jerrion got more mature as time went on too. So maybe
it's correct.
A combination of a couple of things, but
I'll give you an answer to that. I think he was hurt for a long time. I think he was maybe lacking some confidence due to the injury that he was coming back from. And when you don't trust your hips and you don't trust your feet and you don't trust your read and you don't trust yourself, you do everything in your power to get an advantage that is above and beyond technique. So if you think you're lacking in an area, that's where you get handsy. You know, you're like, well, I'm not going to let this dude just run past me, and I don't trust that I can run with him right now, especially if you're coming off of an ankle or a foot or something like that. At some point, you're maybe able to prove to yourself you're back to being you. You're back to being the guy that can really go. And I think obviously we know what he ran at the combine. We know the speed that he showed. So he's really fast for that height. That's why he shot up the draft charts because of that length with that speed. A lot of people are excited to see him be a nickel guy in the NFL. Well, somewhere along the way, I think he began to retrust or, reimagine himself as being the guy that was really, really fast prior to the injury.
Agreed. And hopefully there's something for Greedy that's a similar story. I don't know that he'll ever have the top end speed that Jerrion does, but I didn't know frankly, I didn't know Jerrion had that top end speed. I thought he was a very nice player closing downhill, making plays downhill from the slot. By the end of the season, you saw it a bunch. There's one play specifically in the Florida game where you go, oh my God, that reminds me of something that Telvin or LaMarcus Joyner would do. Just the violence of it, the suddenness of it. But I didn't know that would translate into a 40 time. But that's where, again, playing corner, it's different. It's about, especially in the slot, It's about your quicks inside. It's about the way that you can force a guy to adjust by putting your hands on him. And we'll see. That battle's going to be a lot of fun between Greedy and Earl Little. And I really think that if he's healthy this year, maybe there's a place for Kevin Knowles again, because as a freshman, that dude showed some of the same traits that Jerrion flashed last year in his final few games as a Knoll, which is a nose for the football, understanding angles, getting downhill, making tackles in space. They've got a ton of options there, which is, again, why we come back to corners I think are going to be better this year. You've got more options.
It's a fun contest. I do think Earl Little Jr. is going to win said contest, but I will say I like where your head's at, because most people have probably given up on Knowles. Let's just be honest about that. I think most people have kind of don't factor him into that equation at all.
He would be an underdog to win a job or win some reps, but like Swiss Irish just put in the chat, in the Heisen League chat, just keep him away from safety. They're different positions, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he just did not look like he was ready to get downhill and play.
He's too small to play safety. He's too small.
And if he was hurt too, that also messes with things, you know, because now you're thinking or you're hesitating, or you're trying not to hurt yourself. I mean, we know how those things go. You just got done talking about that with Jerrion. Maybe that was what plagued him the whole time.
I felt bad for at some point. My frustration and anger directed at Knowles when I watched games went from that to kind of feel bad. I think they're asking him to do something he simply cannot do. You know, he wasn't big enough. He struggled to tackle. He couldn't tackle in space. And even if he did come up to tackle and he had the right angle, he couldn't bring people to the ground. That's tough.
He got unlucky. He got unlucky. He got hurdled by like 3 dudes, and he wasn't. One of them was Shipley. One of them was, although there was, at the end of the season, he did get a guy's shin when he was trying to jump over him and got him to the ground. I said, "There you go. All right, Kevin, you're not going to get hurdled for the 4th time this year."
My friends at Tried and True Consulting on board with the Jeff Cameron Show. You heard me talk about them. They're a payment and business solutions company owned by fellow Knowles. As a Knowles business owner, they're committed to reducing cost and increasing your bottom line and giving 10% of their net revenue to the Battle's End. That's a good thing. Hit the trifecta today. Scan the QR code. You'll see it come up here in between the break, or you could just call them at 844-464-6653. Go Tried and True Consulting today. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. When you call Whidden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Whidden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Whidden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. Whidden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
Services, comfort just a call away. 222-7722. AC and electric is what we do. Service, repairs, and installation too. 222-7722. Parker Services, comfort just a call away.
Invest in a Peak Performance membership and you'll buy peace of mind in knowing that you're extending the life of your system and probably saving money on your power bill too. The program includes comprehensive tune-ups that keep your system running at its maximum efficiency. And Peak Performance members get many benefits, including priority service. Members jump to the front of the line when their comfort system fails. And a 15% discount on all parts. The Peak Performance membership pays for itself over and over again. Call today and have peace of mind. And Parker's is now offering electrical services too.
Parker Services, comfort just a call away.
Florida license number CMC 050334.
Searching for the best place to host an event for your friends and family? The Golf Club at Summerbrook is more than just a place for a round of golf. It's also one of the best choices for hosting and celebrating the most special days in your life. From rehearsal dinners and baby showers to corporate banquets and kids' birthday parties, you'll receive amazing personal service and attention to every detail when you choose the Golf Club at Summerbrook. Find out how affordable it can be and call us today at 850-894-GOLF. That's 850-894-GOLF.
Have you been injured on Interstate 10? I'm Jimmy Fasig of Fasig Brooks Law Offices. We've partnered with RoadProof to access all interstate traffic cameras along I-10 from Pensacola to Jacksonville. Let us help you get the proof you need to stand up for yourself and get fair compensation for your injuries. Call us today and let us secure the proof you need to come back stronger. Fasig Brooks, 850-777-7777. Offices Destin, Tallahassee, and Jacksonville.
Oh my God, what happened to you? You're walking so crooked.
Well, I was walking my alligator and I tripped on a cypress knee and I spilled my margarita.
Oh my gosh, your margarita.
Yeah, I blown my back completely out. I had to ride the alligator home. I don't know what to do. My back's killing me.
You're such a Florida man. You should know you should go to Finn Chiropractic.
Really?
You can go to their website and book an appointment and get you in as soon as possible. Go to finnchiro.com, FENNCHIRO.com.
You mean 24 hours a day I can make my appointment online and pay for it?
Yep, right on their website.
Wow, and it's... All right, that's what Florida man needs to do.
No lines, no waiting. Visit fenchiro.com to book your next appointment with a discount. FENNCHIRO.com. That's FENNCHIRO.com. It's Fen Chiropractic, where the chiropractors love you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Hold my beer. I'm going to Finn Chiropractic.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
And we're back. See, that's how we have to do it, everybody. This is what it's going to be. Dry. Oh, that's the way it's headed. Damn YouTube taking out all the fun. Attention, Florida, if you're a victim of an auto accident, we introduce our live chat sponsor, Heisen Legal Law Firm, dedicated to representing injured clients statewide. If you've been in an accident, make sure to call Heisen Legal Law Firm, 813-803-0733. It's a free consultation. They don't charge you a thing unless they win. Your interests come first with Heisen Legal Law Firm, the name you can trust for justice. Call 813-803-0733 or visit HeisenLegalLawFirm.com. Heisen Legal Law Firm, your advocate in times of need. Offices, Tampa. Eddie Goldman came out of retirement today, kids. He signed with the Atlanta Falcons. Eddie Goldman may be the player at FSU that I thought had a chance to do Herculean things, but never did. He was just okay. He was a guy that I'm not sure. He's the guy that we would have said, I'm not sure he loves football. He was just born big. He's gigantic. But when he did care, when he did get mad, he wrecked people. He was dominant. And he's the cause of the fumble, Tom. We all recall against Clemson with the offsides previous, or the cause of the bad snap, I should say. When he just plowed through the poor center on the play before for the penalty, and then the guy had to snap again, and he wasn't exactly concentrating.
Yeah, it was one of those moments where you have a long replay review to take a touchdown off the board and spot it at the 1-inch line, and you're thinking to yourself, what does that matter? And Eddie Goldman said, I'll show you what it matters. I'll show you how much
some of this
matters. Get you some of Eddie Goldman. Mm-hmm. That was a weird weekend. One of the weirdest, and we've seen some strange ones in our time covering Florida State. But given the Jameis suspension, it was a half, and then overnight on Friday into Saturday, it was a full game. Oh, my God, we got the ball back, Sean McGuire, and then the Eddie Goldman play. After Clemson figured out that Deshaun Watson was a superior quarterback. It took him a little bit to figure that out. But yeah.
I'll never forget, and I remember laughing about it big time, that they were, changing quarterbacks in and out. And I'm like, what are you doing? Why would you do that? Guys, I don't know what you're panicking about. I will get to this. It's not a big deal. It doesn't really long-term mean bad news for Florida State, but a judge in North Carolina's business court denied the Florida State University Board of Trustees motion to dismiss the ACC's lawsuit That's all it is. They said, no, we're not going to dismiss it. Okay. There you go. It's not like people are like, oh, we're not getting out. No, we're probably getting out. I think we're
believe in the town hall that you guys had a week ago.
We said this would be the ruling.
Yeah, he wasn't going to do it. He wasn't going to do it. And
no.
So we press on. The hearing continues on the 9th in the state of Florida, and the battle rages on. So, yeah. We'll get more specifics if we can. We've tabbed a couple of our legal people to give a little bit more insight than just nothing crazy to see here. But my assumption is that the legal minds will say, yeah, this was expected.
Well, I know that's what they're going to say because they predicted this was going to happen. But I will go on to say that, yeah, the stay wasn't granted. So, look, at the end of the day, it doesn't change what Florida State is trying to do and doesn't change what the ACC is trying to do. So we'll we know Clemson joined the battle, and we'll be watching. And in the decision, Judge Bledsoe wrote that he believes a North Carolina court has local interest in resolving the dispute. So, it's not preferable. You'd like to win that, but it's not. If the judge is fair, then we're okay. And, we'll just go from there. And I think that we feel like the crux of the argument is what's good. And moreover, we don't think this is always, none of us think this is going all the way through. So we're really kind of biding a lot of time here.
Like, I think Justin's question on X is the correct one in the Heisen Lika X chat, if you will. But does it make our argument bad for paying less? That's the right question to ask every step of the way here. Is like, does this make the number greater or lesser? And that's one that hopefully some of the legal experts we have can help us determine.
Yeah, and I don't know how this would determine that. But I'm not a lawyer, and I will not pretend to be one. But if we are able to track our guy down, Tom Quitz could come on, and we'll ask him, and he'll tell us this is terrible, this is great, it doesn't matter. There you go. Tom's trying desperately to get a hold of him. We'll see.
I've heard from him. There's some back and forth going on right now.
Well, here's the thing. I every step of the way, if you don't win every facet of it, and there's an article that is written about things that you're trying to do, and it doesn't go the way that you want each step of the way, people are going to panic because there's so much on the line here. And I understand that. I'm not trying to belittle that, but I also think that there's an overreaction to most things that we're hearing so far. At the end of the day, what I'm more interested in that is what's going to happen with North Carolina. Like, I'm more interested right now in terms of how it affects FSU on the legal front day to day, and whether or not things get expedited to us leaving this conference, and whether or not there's a number associated with that, Tom. To me, what's more interesting than this judge's ruling about that denying a stay is, does North Carolina get down and dirty and decide that they're joining too? At some point, it becomes a momentous thing, where the biggest brands in the conference are all joined at the hip, telling the conference to go to hell.
Some might say that a brand like North Carolina might be a vital organ to the ACC body itself.
Right.
It's like an organ turning on its body. And what happens in that situation? Not good things. Not good things at all. It would help if the board of trustees chair has a louder voice than their idiot athletic director, but we'll see how that power struggle rages on. Usually the board chair wins that one, though, I will say.
Mm-hmm. By the way, for those of you that yesterday asked questions, I gave several names. One of those names was Corey Connors. He currently sits in third, -3. So we got one in the fight, guys. Got one in the fight. Hang in there. Come on, Corey Connors. Hang in there. That's the whole thing. You only need one. You only need one guy. It's day one of the Valero Texas Open, but I thought I'd give you an update since some of you have asked. As far as other news involving Florida State, I dare mention at the end of a segment, like I am here, that they had another transfer from the basketball team. You think they're going to be able to field a team next year? Is that the question we should ask? Are they going to be able to field a basketball team next year? That's 5 guys. That's 5 now that have said peace. It's Jeff Cameron Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
On Monday, parts of North America will experience a total solar eclipse. In Tallahassee, the Challenger Learning Center will be live streaming the path of totality in the planetarium and hosting a viewing event to watch the partial eclipse locally. Tallahassee will see 71% of the sun get covered up by the moon. The Challenger Learning Center's eclipse viewing event will start at 1:30 Monday and will peak in Tallahassee around 3. Glasses to view the eclipse will also be available for purchase at the center. A trial date has been set for a former Jefferson County clerk who is accused of defrauding Jefferson County of more than $800,000 in public funds. Kirk Reams' trial date is set for May 6th. Reams is one of 3 men charged by the Florida Department of Law Enforcement after being accused of funneling public dollars into their own pockets during a scheme believed to have lasted for years. Former court financial consultant Warren Charles Colt Jr. and Deputy Clerk Justin Tyler McNeil are also facing charges in connection to the incident. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Ample sunshine expected this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 72. Winds out of the west 10 to 20 miles per hour. Clear skies again tonight. Lows dip down to about 47. Daytime highs approaching 74 tomorrow. Bright sunshine. Mainly sunny skies Saturday with highs around 73. 78 Sunday. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, it's 66 degrees.
Did you know metal roofs' survivability far exceeds that of traditional shingle roofs? It's time to consider a metal roof from Metal Roofing Sales of Tallahassee. We provide the best quality, least expensive material and accessories in the area, as well as material pickup and delivery. Our painted panels qualify for the City of Tallahassee's low-interest Energy Star loan program also. And don't forget about our veteran law enforcement discount. Give Metal Roofing Sales a call today at 536-9123, 536-9123.
There is no Bigfoot, Eddie. Would you stop with that nonsense?
There's a Bigfoot, Jeff.
I wish there were. By the way, I don't want you to point to me as the guy that takes all the fun out of the room. I wish there was the Loch Ness Monster. I wish there was the Bigfoot. I wish there was the Chupacabra. All the things.
They're all mythical except for the Bigfoot. The Sasquatch.
The Bigfoot?
The Bigfoot. There's big feet. There's lots of them.
So like different, breeds, like different kinds.
There's like, families. There's different families. And,
so there's if they're in the snow, you call them a Sasquatch.
Or the Yeti, right?
Yep,
and then here in Florida, that's a skunk ape. And, I've
never heard that one. By the way, why do you think it's real? We would have found them by now.
They're the hide and seek champions of the world. Nobody finds the Bigfoot.
I think you believe in Bigfoot.
I do believe in Bigfoot.
You don't believe.
I believe in Bigfoot.
Don't tell anybody you believe in Bigfoot.
I would go look for Bigfoot, but he scares me.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
You know how we've talked in the past about, like, what would Norvell's demeanor be like? What would the team's demeanor be like? What would be their mentality after the snub? And how do you handle something like that? Did you read Andrea Adelson's piece? Did you see the text message from Mike Norvell?
No, I didn't, but I'm fascinated. What did he say?
So she wrote a piece, and I like Andrea very much. I would call her a friend, and I think she does good work. She wrote a piece on Florida State football and moving forward after the college football playoff snub. And there was a text message that was included in that from Mike Norvell sent to the team. And, excuse me, about the cough. That's not good.
The most important thing about the wild card race in the end.
Here we go. I knew you were going to do it. Anyhow, the text that's posted online, I saw on. I got to give credit to the poster. It's Central Norvell posted the text. It says, "I'm so grateful for you, and I'll never take one day for granted. But today we can stand up, stand tall, and go get better. A lot of ways to deal with adversity. You can stop, turn around, crawl under it, or try to avoid it. Keep your eyes up and climb over it. I love you guys more than you'll ever know. Don't let this world keep you down. Don't let keep you from reaching your potential, because they're not in control of our best one day at a time." So, obviously fairly inspiring and a good article. You go read it. Go read it about, how they dealt with it. Mike's a good leader, man. We've said that all along. I'm not surprised. Not surprised that I have taken a lot of interest in, and I don't like going back to the moment when they realized that they were being snubbed. And I thought it was a cheap shot to have camera crews and people there knowing that they were about to do that to FSU. That pissed me off to no end. But what I did take interest in is that split-second moment that had happened and seeing the pain and anguish on Mike's face, because I wondered it at the time, and I thought about it a lot since, how difficult it must have been after you've demanded so much of these young men and asked for so much, and for so many of them to have taken the leap of faith that you asked them to take, to believe in you and do this, this, and this, and we will get where we want to go if you do. And they played through injury and did all those things, and then to have it stolen in the manner that it was. What then, as a leader, do you do? How do you address them after all of that? Didn't matter. Well, I think for starters, you can't look at it that way. A lot of people looked at it as, well, so it didn't matter. Yeah, it mattered. Everything about what they did every day mattered. Has to. It didn't get you to where you wanted to go. It should have. But it mattered. It mattered because it changed the culture. It mattered because it is the basis for what the program's built on. He talks about service and sacrifice. Well, that's what was happening on a daily basis for this team in that practice throughout the course of the year. That's what was happening all along. So it can't be that it didn't matter. It's that it didn't allow you to reach your goals, and that is aggravating. It is wrong. It is all of the things that we've said for months, or for, since the end of the year. But it doesn't change the direction, and it doesn't change how you operate every day. So, I think it's just another opportunity to get a glimpse of real leadership. And it's the thing I think he does best. Listen, I think he's a really good play caller. I think he's a good offensive mind. I think he's a hard worker. He's all the things that you'd want a head coach to be. Does he have weaknesses? Sure, every coach does. But he's really good. And we know that. We know that the coach is being led by the right guy. But I think that's the best thing that he does is again, there's a through line, there's a messaging, there is a way of life and doing things at Florida State. He's created culture. That is hard to do, and that's what sustains you over time, because a lot of people can do the X's and O's. Lots of people can do the X's and O's. Most coaches in college have a pretty good handle on the X's and O's. Yeah, there's a timing to all of this and all of those other things, but you're creating a culture that sustains you every day of the year. And that is, if you don't have that, you have nothing. You could be a genius play caller, but if the guys aren't going to work day to day and sacrifice and serve each other, you got no shot. It doesn't matter how smart you are. It doesn't matter. So I think that's what, when people ask me, what does he do really well? I'm like, oh, he does lots of things really well. He recruits the portal exceptionally well. I think he does a really good job schematically. But I think the thing that I say every time is, well, he kicks ass in creating a belief in one another and a culture. That's what he does a really good job of.
And he does that by being consistent himself.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the ways that you build it. And it's like there's something on social media. It's pretty funny. It's like a montage of a teacher walking into a classroom every day. And it's maybe like 30 straight days. I don't know if you've seen this. He's an older guy. He's carrying the books at his hip. He usually wears a full button-down shirt, older man, glasses, balding, and he just walks in the exact same way.
Every day.
Mannerisms identical every day. It's hilarious because it's often about, like me showing up to watch the Mets disappoint me every day or every year for the last 30 years. And that's the video. But that's Mike. That is Mike. I mean, 0-4, 13-0. Same guy. Now, you have contended that there might be a little bit more of an edge to him this camp than in years past.
Yeah,
I think that's a function of competition because there's more of it, and so he's allowed to do that. But I mean, is he not, when you're in a press conference setting, exactly the same person, or in an interview setting today than he was with his first time he was on the show, or first time that he took the press conference, took to the dais after a practice? He's the same dude, exact same.
It's fascinating. That kind of consistency, you'd love to see it. You want to see it always be rewarded. Coaches preach it, but not all of them can do it. I mean, I think that's how Jimbo lost his way a little bit. There are a lot of factors there, and I don't want to relitigate that, but he had it early on. He certainly had it early on, and then it wavered for a lot of reasons. But when that happens, there's no, I do remember something he said, and I agreed with it, and I still agree with it, and I've used it as a parent. I think kids don't know it, but they really want to be disciplined. They really, really want people to discipline them because it gives them something that they can count on, that they can rely on. It's really the only thing about growing up that is consistent is if you have that adult that cares about you and is there for you every day, and hey, this is what they're going to be. I can rely that mom and dad are going to do this, and they believe in me and they trust me, right? Well, not every kid has that, and we see the results. So if you can be that for a coach, as a coach, it's huge. It's huge in creating culture. You got kids from all kinds of walks of life in different areas of the country, but what's this one thing in an ever-changing world? Oh, a coach is going to be this. Every day he's going to demand this. I have to do things this way because this is the way we do them. And if I don't, there are repercussions. And maybe you don't like that they make you do this, this, and this, but damn it, deep down in ways you can't understand until you're much older, you really yearn for it.
Well, yeah, this program doesn't cultivate robots. It allows kids to be themselves under a certain structure. But, they have downtime. They have free time. Florida State football players make it around the town. But I think when you have a regimented day that begins early in the morning with whatever it is, some part of the year it's tour of duty, another part of the year it's classwork, and in the fall it's early practice. I mean, you've got meetings and practice first thing in the morning in the fall. So once you start the day and you've got an itinerary laid before you with classes and tutoring and workouts and film and treatment, and it is regimented and you know where to be. I mean, that's one of the first things I remember a Florida State player telling me about what was different about Mike Norvell. We were in breakout interviews, and he said, well, I know where I'm going to be. I know where I have to be each part of the day. But when that's the case, you're almost freed up. You're almost freed up mentally to be better at whatever it is, be it lifting or be it handling practice. Because you know it, I know it. Sometimes I live with a schedule that's in a state of limbo. I don't like that as much as on vacation. Sure, great. But in life, it's nice to have things done in half an hour and hour increments. It makes life a little bit easier.
Yeah, it's I do think so. I think if okay, well, this is my day. Listen, the busier you are, like a coach, it's a really good thing. Just pragmatically, it's a really good thing that we're able to say this about the coach, because I think it starts there. Like, if you're as busy as I've said this before, basically, now our coach is a little different. In due time, I think he'll take on more of this, but the coaches today of big time programs have to almost be CEOs, right? They're like businessmen. They're like, yeah, the X's and O's count and assessment and all those things. We understand it, but you have so many roles that you have to play. And to lead a program is one thing, but then to shake the right hands and to lobby for money and to do and work with the administration and all the stuff, right? You go on those tours and you speak to boosters, and you're just constantly, people want something from you every second of every day, and there are people that you have to answer to, and there are appointments that you have to be at, and there's the actual coaching that you're going to do and the preparation for the game, but that's just a small part. You better be regimented. You better be as buttoned up as any human being can possibly be. And frankly, that's what the money's for. Like, that's why you make so much money, because so much is demanded of you. Like, from 5 a.m. until 10 p.m., you're spoken for. You have something you have to be doing if you're going to succeed 5 a.m. to 10 p.m., pretty much every damn day. And if you hate that, then go do something else. But, oh, by the way, very few jobs pay $10 million a year.
Well, the other part of it, you've talked about this. There's a listener of the show, longtime listener of the show, TPE, and you've asked him, why do you run X amount of miles a day? Was it 10?
He said, why do you brush your teeth?
Right. Yeah. If you think about it in those terms, it's like, why do you eat? Why do you drink water? Like, these coaches do go to that place where they think about making sure they break down film or issue a text or a phone call in the allowable period to 16 and 17-year-olds to 16 and 17.
Never outside the allowable period.
There are recruiting blackouts, right? There are recruiting dead periods. But if you're not in that dead period, it's as vital as drinking water or eating food that you got to reach out to this potential 5-star 16-year-old out of Moultrie because he likes Florida State. But you got to pounce now. Like, they treat it with that urgency. And that's what makes them different as humans. Like, they're wired a little bit different.
The only way I could do a good job in recruiting is to have those designations, Tom. Like, I would need an assistant who said, hey, man, from 1 to 2, you're texting these 12 dudes today about coming to play at Florida State, or how's it going, or great catch the other night, or whatever the hell I got to say to keep them interested. And then the next day there'll be a different 10 or whatever it is.
Do you think that that's what the assistants do for these coaches? Like, for example, you could watch a political drama and there's a presidential candidate trying to fundraise, and they said, now remember, he's from Maine, so tell him go Bears or whatever.
Yeah, it's very important in Maine that they salt the roads. And by the way, they got to save money. The city needs to save money. Make sure you address that issue.
Or he went to Maine University and they just won a national title. Be sure to say congratulations. And then, like, he walks through the curtains, hey, Maine, congratulations on the title. You know, like, I wonder if the assistant for Tony Tokar says, remember, he threw 3 touchdowns and didn't throw an interception on Friday, coach. You might want to mention that. And they put that in the call notes as Tony's issuing a phone call to a 15-year-old who just won a 7-on-7 or something like that.
I would have to. Like, who's this kid play for again? All right. Did they win? They did? Did he score? Great. All right.
It was a 35-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm going to riff off of that. Was that a 35-yard touchdown?
35 yards, right. That's the one thing. Like, when you think about what coaches do on a day-to-day basis, the coaching is the best. Like, a lot of these guys, and we're hearing about it, the older coaches that are either retiring or going to the NFL, what they get frustrated by, obviously we're in a weird space right now with NIL and transfer rules, but like, it's easier to put up with some of this stuff, obviously, because you make a lot of money, but what they get frustrated by more and more is that they don't get to coach. They're having to worry about all the things that don't involve coaching. And you have to love coaching. And I think almost every coach I've ever met, like, there are some people in the professional world that you'll talk to and they'll tell you, and it could be, something out of football. Obviously, I'm just talking about the professional world. And they'll say, my job's just a job. I happen to be really good at this. And therefore I did this because I knew I could do it and do it well and make a good living. But I don't love it. I don't really love it. I'm just good at math, and this job calls for a lot of math. And you know what? I kind of found myself here, and it's a means to an end. I'm sending my kids through college and I'm paying my mortgage, but I don't love it. I don't think you can do that in coaching. Kids will see through it. You have to love it, and you have to, because that's a grind. The higher up you go, the more hours you work, but even high school coaches work really hard. That's like, most of us like to be home in time for dinner, but they don't get that.
No. Ever. No, they feel guilty when they're leaving the parking lot. Like, they should have done more today. We feel guilt about very different things in life. Like, man, should I have tipped maybe just I'm a good tipper, but should I have tipped? I thought 22% was good enough. Should I have gone 30% in this case? And they're like, I should have watched a little bit more of what New England did in week 10 last year, because I really think it translates to our linebackers. We're a little bit better at run stopping. Maybe I should have looked at what the Patriots did. Should I turn around? I wonder if they'd understand.
And then they do turn around and they make the call and they say, I'm going to be sleeping in the office.
Right. Yeah. Andy Reid always makes that call.
Oh, buddy, we're going to go there.
No, not even like, that dude's a lifer. That dude,
without question,
is an absolute lifer. And these coaches, I'm not going to say they're wildly different from the other ones that we've had in completely, but every time you go in that coach's luncheon and we talk to them off the record, man, they are happy to do what they do. You don't feel like any of them, they don't feel like it's a stepping stone job or they don't like one facet. Like, they're fired up to be there. They're an extension of who Mike is in that way.
Yeah, I think you have to be. I know it changes as you get into the professional level and things are different. I mean, these are grown-ups and they're paying, their salaries and all that sort of stuff. But I do, honestly, I think, like, I only coached 12-year-olds for 2 years, and I loved it. I became passionate about it immediately because you invest in the kids and their personality. You invest in them. And like, I think the best coaches make you feel special. They make you feel, like they're, not necessarily your dad, but they're somebody akin to that authority figure, right? And they care about you. That's why you put up with somebody saying dreadful things to you as a player, because you know where it comes from. Like, Mickey Andrews could not have said first of all, Mickey Andrews could not have said the things he said back then today. But secondly, he couldn't have said those things even back then if they didn't know that he loved them. If he didn't know that he loved them.
If he said those things today,
he wouldn't have a job.
There would be an outside the lines story. Like, outside the lines, Mickey Andrews, what is wrong with our culture today? And like it would be breaking news. Very serious people on the screen at ESPN saying this is just unacceptable behavior. It is not. It is not caring of a common human being.
Some of the stuff he said was the funniest stuff I'd ever heard. I mean, like, and I would still find it funny. I just know he'd be out of a job. But again, you wouldn't hear that. You wouldn't be able to say those things to somebody in the manner that he said them if they didn't know that he loved them. Hour number 2 forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Zaxby's has been perfecting chicken fingers for 30 years. So what now? Now, we go to the sea. Introducing the Southern Fried Shrimp Meal. With butterfly shrimp that's perfectly golden fried. A perfect blend of cocktail sauce and Zax sauce that we call Zax Tail Sauce. Plus perfectly seasoned crinkle fries. Perfectly buttery Texas toast. And even a drink with perfectly pebbled ice. Here's to 30 more years of perfect. The new Southern Fried Shrimp Meal at Zaxby's. Woo, saucy! Zaxby's.
At Paul's Termite and Pest Control, we know if you have something in your home that's not supposed to be there, you want it gone now.
Not in a couple of days, not tomorrow, but today. That's why we offer a same-day guarantee.
If you call Paul's before 12, one of our technicians will be out before 5. We guarantee it.
The health of you, your family, and your pets is why we promise to do everything possible to quickly resolve your problem.
And we do so using the safest chemicals. Notice a pest problem?
Call Paul's Termite and Pest Control before 12, and we're there before 5.
Call Paul's.
We'll get them all.
We're all spending more time at home than we ever have.
And our yards have become more than something we look at through the window. They are now a major part of our refuge.
Now that we're outside more, wouldn't it be great if we could eliminate the things that make us want to run back inside? Pests like mosquitoes and fire ants.
Paul's Pest Control can do just that, and we'll do it for a surprisingly low cost.
Our treatments are done outside. There is never a reason to enter your home.
The weather is beautiful, and now is the time to be outside.
Paul's Termite and Pest Control will help you take your yard back.
Call us for a free consultation.
When you need a plumber quick, how long is an acceptable time to have to wait?
Yeah, hey, it's the Millers again. Just calling you about our little plumbing problem.
2 hours?
Hey, we were hoping you can get here soon because the water is getting really bad. I mean, please hurry.
4 hours?
I know you said you were on your way, but, honey, tell the kids to tread water.
8 hours?
Don't worry about us.
At M&L Plumbing, you'll never have to wait long for quality, dependable service right when you need it. At M&L Plumbing, we listen to our customers, and our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing, your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or visit us online at mndlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
Attention Florida, are you a victim of an auto accident? We introduce our live chat sponsor, Hyson Leaka Law Firm, dedicated to representing injured clients statewide. If you've been in an accident, call Hyson Leaka Law Firm at 813-803-0733 for a free consultation. Remember, there's no cost to you unless they win. Your interests come first with Hyson Leaka Law Firm, the name you can trust for justice. Call 813-803-0733 now or visit HysonLeakaLawFirm.com. Heisen Legal Law Firm, your advocate in times of need.
Real Talk 93.3, WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee. The latest betting odds and live movements from Vegas. This is your action update. Now here are your latest lines from our guys in the desert.
Tampa Bay Rays hosting the Texas Rangers at Tropicana Field today. Aaron Savali for the Rays, $1.22 favorite. Nathan Eovaldi for the Rangers, plus 102. The total is 8, shaded to the over. Denny Hamlin plus 450 to win the Cookout 400 at Martinsville on Sunday. Top 3 plus 130, top 5 minus 180. Hamlin coming off his 53rd career victory. He won last week at Richmond. Rory McIlroy 9-1 in Valero Texas Open in San Antonio at TPC San Antonio. It's the final tune-up before the Masters at Augusta National next week. 2 weeks free betting splits data available at vsin.com/betting split. For more sports betting news and information, go to vsin.com. Mike Son at Real Talk 93.3.
They said it couldn't be done. They said it was impossible. But mark my words, I did it. With Kohl's. That's right. I got everything I needed for my spring home refresh in one trip. I'm talking Sonoma Goods for Life bedding for 20% off. And Espresso Virtual Plus Deluxe for 30% off. Cuisinart cookware sets for 35% off. And Sonoma Goods for Life decor for 20% off. So if you want to get set for the season and save big, you can do it all at Kohl's. Select styles. Some exclusions apply. Espresso and Cuisinart coupons do not apply. See store or Kohl's account for details.
Tax Talk with Straight Talk.
You give and you give. This tax season, you get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get a reliable 5G network and unlimited data and a new Samsung Galaxy A15 for just $99. So you can give your janky phone to your kid. Yeah! Good talk.
Switch to Straight Talk for plans starting as low as $25 a line per month for 4 lines. Find us at Walmart and StraightTalk.com. For network management practices, visit StraightTalk.com. Device offer ends 4/14/24. In-store activation on single Silver Unlimited plan or higher required. Family plan discount with 4 lines all on the Silver Unlimited plan. Taxes and fees apply.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
You probably already know that Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas is your one-stop destination for all pool maintenance needs, offering everything you need from chemicals, cleaners, vacuums, nets, and more. But that's not all. Pinch a Penny also carries a huge selection of premium hot springs hot tubs paired with easy financing options, making these luxury hot tubs affordable for everyone. And if you have an older hot tub and you're worried about the hassle of removing it, worry no more. Pinch a Penny will not only remove and haul away your old hot tub, but also offer a trade-in value for a credit towards your new one. So why wait? Visit Pinch a Penny's 12,000 square foot showroom today on Greer Road and discover how effortless and affordable owning a fantastic hot tub can be. Find out more at TallahasseeHotSpring.com. That's TallahasseeHotSpring.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3...
Hope you're listening on 93.3 with the windows down, enjoying the weather, enjoying a perfect day. Good day to go out there. I'll be headed over to practice after the show concludes, and I hope they do all of it outside, Tom. No indoor practice facility today. Let's go outside, everybody. Let's go. We're going to stay out here the whole time. It's perfect out.
I know it's all compressed now, too, because the far side field, the one that was closer to Pensacola and Stadium, is under construction completely. And then you have the IPF and the one field out there. The IPF is still full length, which is great.
Still 100 yards, unlike Miami's.
Yeah, it's a nice plus to have a full-sized IPF. But I do like that, that when they do have to work outside, it's a lot closer to where we stand at Hauser. So I feel like, I don't know, man, maybe
I don't think they get mad, don't they? Yeah, I love it.
I think intentionally they practiced on the far side field closer to Stadium Drive in Pensacola when we were there, so that you have to break out your Bushnells in order to see what the hell was going on a little bit better. But now it's up close and personal. No matter how you slice it, we do get a much better look up front at what's going on. I would imagine, judging by the weather report down there today, you're going to be outside for a lot of it.
I hope. You know what's fun to do? Every time one of these legal filings happen, to read Florida State's language. They repeated some of the technical arguments in its latest Leon County filing. But there are a couple of sentences about former Commissioner John Swofford and current Commissioner Jim Phillips, and they're pretty funny. The FSU board's contention is that the entire ACC enterprise has failed, particularly as to its constitutionality committed purposes, if I read that correctly, as well as the fact the captains who guided it, Swofford and Phillips, have run the enterprise aground, plagued by conflicts of interest, motives of self-perpetuation, and the abject abandonment of their preeminent responsibility to serve the members first. Those commissioners have skippered the enterprise to its existential brink. You gotta like that, huh?
It sounded like somebody got into the Lagavulin a little heavy and was getting wordsy and decided to run with it the next day. That's what that sounds like to me.
Particularly as to its constitutionally committed to purposes. That's what I screwed up first. I read that again. Swofford and Phillips have run the enterprise into the ground, plagued by conflicts of interest, motives of self-perpetuation, and abject abandonment of their preeminent responsibilities to serve the members first. Those commissioners have skippered the enterprise to its existential brink. That's fun. That's kind of fun to write.
I'm sure it was fun to write. The thing is, everybody who is not accustomed to legal proceedings, and that's most of us, but like really not accustomed to how these things work, anytime there's a briefing filed and there's language like that, they're like, yeah, get him. That'll show them. And it's like, well, these are but pawns on the chessboard, these pieces of paper. There's really no substance to what they're going to do. There's nothing material in the game that's going to come from this particular piece of paper or paragraph. It's going to get done in a room at some point when people have had enough. I was watching a documentary that you referenced. It's on musician Colin Hay the other night. And it's the Australian lawsuit against Men at Work for stealing an old nursery rhyme song from Australia. Right. And it was proven in a court of law that maybe they took 2 bars from the nursery rhyme. And so the award was to the suing party for $100,000 Australian. The total legal cost for the proceedings was $4.5 million.
Absurd.
So the one guy said, well, they both lost. It's just one side lost a little bit less than the other because it's a $100,000 award for $4.5 million of legal costs.
This is why these things don't go the max. People don't want to spend all the money on attorney's fees.
So as fun as this is to use alliteration to own the enemy and tell you that, they suck in so many words and in more flowery language, at some point, both of these sides are going to look at the bottom line and say, all right, why not spend it on each other here in some way, form, or fashion rather than spending it on law firms across multiple states from the ACC's perspective?
Yeah, I do like it. I do like when they get pointed that way. The thing I will say, though, that above and beyond the pointed language and the flowery language and the structure of sentence and how we do laugh at these things. And you're right, big picture may not mean anything, but it is fun to read. And yeah, there's a little get you some of that to all of this. They weren't fooling around though when they went after Swaffy's kid.
That's true.
That's not flowery language. We're calling you corrupt. We're saying that you're corrupt and that you did this, that you used the ACC and the power you had as commissioner to line your pockets, to get your son a job and line his pockets. We're calling you a criminal. That's like basically what they said. So that wasn't nothing. That was a little bit more than what this is, which is hilarious to read. Skippery. I also don't think it's not lost on me that they used skippered twice. And I wonder if that's not an indirect shot, the former head of ESPN.
Right. Well, yeah. And it's like, don't think I forgot about you. It's Al Pacino and two kids. I forget their names, but Johnny, William, wherever you are.
F you too. Yeah.
F you too. Yeah.
I didn't think about don't think I forgot about you. Yeah, it's awesome. I laugh. I laugh at a lot of this, but that was pointed, and that's when you knew things got really ugly, and that's when you thought, okay, well, they're going for broke, but that's the only way you can do it. Once you've made this decision, you're all in, and that was the end of it. That was the end of it. I do think it is having a deleterious effect on Jim Phillips' health. I have yet to see a picture of Jim Phillips looking vibrant, looking like a man who has embraced life and enjoys the day-to-day operation of running the ACC. Instead, I see a man beleaguered, as I am fond of saying, bereft of hope. I see a man who is rudderless, who is confused as to what to do here. It's tough. You almost, if he didn't piss you off, you almost want to give him a hug. He's the guy in the office that you see walking down the hall, and you're like, man, Bob is not doing well. Is Bob's wife cheating on him again? Bob is looking like he's got no what for to him whatsoever. Bob is not certain of much. The world has gotten to Bob. That's the home office of the ACC looking at Jim Phillips walking down the hall. Man, Jim used to walk in here like he did something. Jim had the nice new tie and the great suit, and his shoulders were back. Jim had something to say. Now Jim just looking frumpy, just kind of standing over by the coffee pot.
Everybody loves Jim and thinks he's a nice guy until he starts costing them lots of money. You know, that happens to a lot of people in an office setting. Oh, I love him. Great guy. Great guy. I think he's going to do real good things for us. This dude is killing us. When can we get rid of him? It's just 6 months later. That's all it takes. Nice guy. I get it. He's nice. Okay. A lot of nice people in the world. Costing us millions. Get him out of here.
Jim. Those pictures every time. He's at a game. They're there to celebrate the ACC champion in basketball. He's looking like he's on the verge of tears. They're still, and not for the good reasons. It's not, I can't believe NC State did it. No, it's that he's pissed that he represents the ACC. He's just like, oh, I'm a dead man walking and everybody here knows it.
I can't even get Dennis Miller to call me back. Dennis, I mean, it's the CW. Hey, he can't be that busy. It's the CW. They've got superhero shows and reruns of Dawson's Creek. He can't call me? Dennis, give me a call.
Somebody said during headlines in one of the questions about if Miami gets left behind, will they lament being stuck with their games on the CW in between episodes of Batwoman?
Batwoman, it's Supergirl. It's Aquaman's roommate.
When I read it, I thought, is there actually a show called Batwoman? Does it exist? Is it a thing?
Well, there's a Supergirl, so I think that's what. But there could be. Hey, you know what? There could very well be on the CW. Anything's possible with the CW.
It is strange to me that their athletic director and anybody associated with Miami has seemingly come out and embrace their lot in life in the ACC. They've all been like, yeah, we love it. We're good. This gives us a path to the playoff. Like they're just getting crumbs and they're thanking them for it. Like you get the crumbs from the table and you're like, oh, thank you so much. These crumbs are delicious.
Do you know what gives you a path to the playoff? Just being an FBS. FBS is a path to the play. If you exist there, You have a path. They're the best group of 5 team can make it to the playoff.
Yeah.
So
we just want a chance. You just want. So you're saying there's a chance.
Man, those 2 guaranteed seats aren't going to last 10 minutes. The moment that we're out of this thing, that's when you're going to have 2 certain commissioners saying, "Is it really necessary that we need 2 automatic bids for the ACC?" Right, Jim? And then Jim's going to say, "Right, guys, right."
Oh well, Jim. Yeah, Jim certainly isn't going to stand tall.
One seat. I thought we agreed to something, but 1 seat. Okay. Can we have one? Well, since you asked, Jim, no.
No, we've decided you get no seats because we don't care about Cal and SMU and anybody else in that godforsaken conference of yours. Go be good at lacrosse and love it, tout it, celebrate it, because that's what you are now, a lacrosse conference. You've always been. Once basketball lost, and they did, once basketball lost, you switched to lacrosse. Enjoy.
Yeah. Dave says in the Heisen Leaka chat that my Phillips impression sounds like Jules are boxed up. No. See, I've got some experience with this. I believe he's of the faith that I grew up in, Jim, because he worked at Notre Dame. He seems very enthusiastic about Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
There's a week of the year called Stewardship Week, where after the priest speaks for 15 minutes after the gospel, then somebody has to come up, speak about stewardship, and ask you for a second large sum of money.
Always.
And that person knew what they were tasked with, which was people hating me in this moment. That's the energy that Jim Phillips has every single time he steps up. I know you're paying for the roof, but we also need a community center. So what do you say? It's the exact energy, Jim. You're going to say no, but I've got to make the case.
Let's plant the spear on credit card processing costs and put more money back into your business. For 15 years, Tried and True Consulting has been helping business increase their bottom line and maximize revenue. That's a good thing. You can scan the QR code or call fellow Knowles, Don or Joe, to find out more. That is 844-464-6653 to schedule your kickoff call. Make it happen. By the way, Tried and True Consulting contributing 10% of net revenue. The battle's in. That's a good thing. Let's support the battle's in, everybody. We've got a good football team because of them. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Kitchen is now open on Cary Forest Parkway near Ology Northside, Tallahassee's only premier market where you can receive the famed Snake River Farm steaks and premier meats. Social Kitchen also has chef-prepared meals and sides ready to serve in just under 20 minutes. Perfect for those very busy springtime weeks, weekends, you name it. Hosting some people at the house. Hey, Social Kitchen also has build-your-own charcuterie boards and catering. Stop in and visit Social Kitchen today or visit us online at socialkitchentlh.com. Socialkitchentlh.com.
Honey, I'm home.
We're in here, honey.
So why are all my friends here?
Have a seat, Dave. We need to talk about your problem.
Problem? I don't have a problem.
Dave, you do have a problem. A problem with your grill. Here's some pamphlets from Hearth and Patio. They are waiting for your call to help you upgrade your grill.
If you or someone you know needs a grilling intervention, call Hearth and Patio today at 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282 or hearthpatiotallahassie.com.
Have you been injured on I-10? I'm Dana Brooks of Facing Brooks Law Offices. We have partnered with Roadproof to access all interstate traffic camera footage along I-10 from Pensacola to Jacksonville. Memories fade and witnesses disappear. Securing important video footage now can make sure your claim receives the full attention it deserves. Call us today and let us secure the proof you need to come back stronger. Facing Brooks, 850-777-7777. Offices Destin, Tallahassee, and Jacksonville.
The weather is unpredictable and can cause issues around your home. Weston Trawick provides commercial, residential, and industrial electrical wiring services, yearly inspections on fire alarms, portable generator sales, and so much more. With 24/7 emergency service and repair, Weston Trawick will be your calm in the storm. Give them a call at 514-0003. Weston Trawick. Professional electrical services day or night. Visit online at westontrawick.com.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool.
Your heating and air conditioning system doesn't check with you before it takes a break. That's why we're always ready to help. Any day, anytime, anywhere. And with our annual service agreement, there are no overtime charges. Ever. At Verno Heating and Air, we will always be there for you.
Barry knows heating and air conditioning.
License CAC 1816186.
If you've been waiting and waiting for the perfect time to buy your new house, you'll be waiting forever. This is Shannon Young with Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, and I have been a mortgage lender for over 20 years. And I can tell you that there is no such thing as perfect timing. So take the first step towards your new home and let me show you what that really looks like. Chances are very high that you'll be very surprised at what I can help you do. When rates go low, prices go high, and that home that you've been eyeballing could be gone. If you're wondering how the drop in interest rates is going to affect your payment, give me a call. I'll be more than happy to show you all of the options available to get you into your new home. And for every single loan that we close for a fellow Knoll, I will personally donate $250 per closing to the Battle's End. Let's do this together and let's keep climbing. Call me today at 954-369-6171. That's 954-369-6171. Or you can find me online at loansforknolls.com. That's loansforknolls.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 373031.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
You know, very quietly, we had a mega trade take place yesterday. And I, for one, raised an eyebrow when I walked past the television and saw that in my living room. I thought, what? Why? Who? This is too good to be true if you're a Texans fan. The Texans, in a very short period of time, have gone from utterly useless, people forget they're in the league, to really effing good and now maybe a Super Bowl contender. Like that, think about how quickly that's happened. You almost have what one would describe as a perfect trade because it has all of the elements. Drama, star power, a shift of overall team power. They get a superstar in Stephon Diggs, and Buffalo, I think, got what they wanted to, which is Stephon Diggs the hell out of town. And if you go read the piece, there's a good piece Tim Graham wrote. He's a columnist yesterday, and he laid out the drama there that Diggs could be a very frustrating person to deal with in the building on a day-to-day basis. And things got a bit testy. One kind of implies here that between he and the star quarterback, and receivers tend to lose those battles long term. But now he gets teamed up with C.J. Stroud, who is entering just his second season, and may I remind you, is already a Pro Bowler. Already a Pro Bowler. Man, there's no happier person on earth than the GM who pulls a trigger on a quarterback in a top 10 pick and turns out to be 100% right, because it seldom happens and it's seldom revealed to you very quickly. It takes a little time, 2-3 years, not 1 year, 2 to 3. They found out in about 4 games. We got it. We got the right guy. This dude's a badass, and he is. There's no getting around it. I remember going from mildly curious to definitively saying to my friends, well, Jesus, C.J. Stroud's a superstar. We're 5 games into the season. This dude's a beast. What is going on here? And he is. So that's kind of fun. That's kind of fun. The NFL wins again. Didn't see that coming in April.
No, and it always shocks me at just how little a player of high stature, proven players, fetch when it comes to draft pick capital. Is it about the salary? Is that what it's about? Because I would be the guy, and probably I would be fired, but I would be the guy who would part with first and second round picks to get badass players. And Diggs is just the latest in this circumstance. He's a little bit older. But there are times where really good players go for seconds or thirds. And it's like, what's the percentage hit rate on a second or third round pick versus a known NFL commodity in your control right here, right now? Never understood that.
Well, I think and I referenced the piece by Tim Graham. He said, look, there were a slew of passive-aggressive comments in which he insulted, Stephon Diggs did, Josh Allen. This isn't why you would trade somebody, but remember, lest we forget, his all-pro little brother also insulted Josh Allen. And when he was asked about it, about Trayvon Diggs, throwing shade at Josh Allen, as they would say, he took offense and acted like it didn't happen. And they like, well, here's the tweet, man. I'm not making this up. He got furious with the reporter, and he took another shot at Josh Allen as well as recently as Tuesday. And I think at some point they just decided, look, man, we'll deal with some microaggressions here and there. But if we can trade you and get a lot for you, we're going to do it. And they did. And I think what we would quibble with is, what is a lot? What do you get? So you trade along with a 2024 6th round draft choice and a 2025 5th rounder for a 2nd round pick that's 13 months away. And that's what they did. That doesn't seem like a king's ransom, does it?
No. And it is for the Texans, though, because, again, you've got the quarterback. So when it comes to top 60 picks, like, you're not going to need one for a while, as long as he stays healthy, to go get that dude, which is great. And you have to, in this modern era of college football on the salary cap, go all in when you're on the rookie contract for your quarterback. You can find a way to make it work in the second contract if they're a stud, and Kansas City certainly has done that. But most teams make a run when they find a diamond in the rough quarterback or a first-round pick that hits, and they're on that lower salary level. So you can surround them with everything in the trenches. You can surround them with skill position players. It's great management out of the Houston Texans. For the first time in our lives, first time in their existence, Houston is legitimately a fun team to watch that has a chance to do serious damage. They had a great defense for about 10 minutes, but they never had a chance to do something like they're contending to do right now, which in that division that they're coming out of is have home field throughout or be the number 2 overall seed in the AFC and have a real honest shot at making a Super Bowl.
It's going to be a draft of quarterbacks. Obviously, we now have some projecting that first 4 picks all be quarterbacks in this draft. That tells you how desperate everybody is to get a quarterback. They found theirs, and in 1 year, they have confirmation that that guy is everything you would hope a top 10 pick at the position of quarterback would be. And you've watched a lot of smart guys make terrible decisions, even really brilliant offensive minds. Think about Shanahan believing it was a good idea to go get Trey Lance. Like that, he has to say yes to that move, right? And they drafted him where they did, despite playing very little college football and not even at a high level. And they've already given up on him. They've already shipped him off. I mean, it was a wasted pick. So it turns out their 7th round guy, Mr. Irrelevant, is infinitely better than the guy that the head coach, who is a very, very smart offensive mind, and you would think assessor of talent, thought should be. That's how hard it is to find the right guy. Like, even dudes that are really good at doing this can't get it right a lot of the time. That's why it's fun for us to venture an opinion on these things, because I'm like, man, we have just as good a chance of being right as those dudes. When it comes to quarterback play. I think that's true.
It's like if there was a casino game, higher or lower. You got the card in front of you.
Yeah.
We've got a 7 on the board, higher or lower. Well, that's basically what an NFL GM experiences with a quarterback. We did that study. Well, I should say we had our interns at the time.
The Lewin Career Forecaster for one. That was fantastic.
The Lewin Career Forecaster was great. That was never wrong. Never, ever was Lewin Career Forecaster wrong. But we had our interns about 10 years ago run the study, and it comes out to first round picks are essentially a coin flip. And there's been subsequent literature, but that's what we found. And your best bet is in the trenches. Offensive line specifically in the first round.
I am a huge proponent when my team needs a lot. If you come to me and say, well, we need to get better on the offensive line. We need to get better on the defensive line. We need to get better at quarterback. We need to get better at wide receiver. We need to get better at corner. Like these teams that are really bad that, well, in the modern 17-game season are losing 12 of them or 13 of them, right? Like when that happens, you need a lot. Now, yes, if you've got a can't-miss quarterback, you always have to take him if you think that's what you have. Do so knowing that the chance you're right is coin flip. Don't really know. I get it. You got to do it. But Kayvon, I should bring back the career forecaster, the Lewin Career Forecaster. The Lewin, yeah, someday I will. But I would just say, loves Bridgewater. I would just I would just say this. If you're unsure about that quarterback, so for me, that would be J.J. McCarthy. Like, are we really going to draft J.J. McCarthy 4? Is that what we're doing here, guys? That's what you're coming in here to tell me today? You've ruined my lunch. You're telling me I got to draft that guy, a guy who they didn't even need to throw a pass in the second half of the game against Penn State. A guy who, always looks pedestrian, never has ever done anything remotely awesome. I've never seen it. Show me any Michigan game. When is he doing something awesome? He's throwing to wide open dudes, and it doesn't even look like he's got a good arm. So we want to draft that guy. Okay. All right. We'll do it. And guess what? Because I think he's terrible, he'll be the best of the bunch. And we'll be like, whoa, what the hell do I know? But ordinarily, I'd say, why don't we just grab that tackle? You're going to need a good offensive tackle. Let those guys translate. What? I can get a tackle from Iowa? Bet you he's really good. They all are.
Drafting a quarterback is literally the Alonzo Mourning GIF. Nope. Shake your head. Well, but it could work. It's that shaking your head, no way, no how. And then, on the other hand, perhaps, because you're correct, guys that we expect to be studs are all-time busts and vice versa. You just hope that if you get it right, you also have a GM who does what Houston is doing, which is saying, now, we're pushing the button now. We were supposed to be rebuilding last year. No, we're accelerating this puppy to full speed ahead because we can afford so many other pieces because CJ Stroud is going to cost us more than triple what we're paying him right now in about 4 years. So let's do it now.
Yeah. I'd go back and be like, okay, we'll lock this guy up. It's unbelievable what he is. We already know it. We got it. Let's do it. I know some people have slid back in year 2. The sophomore slump can be a thing when people have all that tape on you, but I've seen enough out of that dude on a week-to-week basis to know cold-blooded. He has all the throws. Ruthless. Love him. Guys, don't be concerned. Motions to dismiss are a high bar. Most of the time, they get denied. It's what happened. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
News now.
Traffic on the southwest side of Tallahassee on Crawfordville Road was backed up early Wednesday as authorities responded to a crash that mangled a car and injured one person. A 42-year-old woman was hurt in the wreck at about 6:30 a.m., but she is expected to survive. A 27-year-old man driving a white Toyota eastbound crossed the center line and struck a black Nissan Rogue driven by the woman. The vehicles collided near the intersection of Crawfordville Road and Capitol Circle Southwest. The man will be charged with failure to maintain his lane and for not having proof of insurance. A Tallahassee business owner is grappling with a sudden loss after his business went up in flames Sunday. Cigars of Tally, which had 2 locations in the capital city, the location on North Monroe Street burned on Easter night. The fire happened the day before the 5th anniversary of the location's opening. The fire was in the lobby area, according to TFD. Crews were able to save most of the building structure and prevent it from damaging nearby buildings. This is Rachel Anay with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Ample sunshine expected this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 72. Winds out the west 10 to 20 miles per hour. Clear skies again tonight. Lows dip down to about 47. Daytime highs approaching 74 tomorrow. Bright sunshine. Mainly sunny skies Saturday with highs around 73. 78 Sunday. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Currently, it's 68 degrees.
Where is the best place to find Michelin, Firestone, Dunlop, Goodyear, and Bridgestone tires? Nice Tire and Auto Service. Where's the best full-service auto center? Nice Tire and Auto Service. They do everything from computerized alignments to brakes, tune-ups, and safety inspections. Where can you get complete auto service you can trust? That's easy. Nice Tire and Auto Service. 4792 Bluntstown Highway, just west of Capitol Circle.
There he is. Haven't seen this guy since, what was it? Oh, shoot. U2 at the Sphere in Las Vegas, baby.
Hey, how about that, man? Wasn't that fun?
Good show. Everything about it. Nearly perfect.
I had everything I could possibly want.
I wanted one thing, couldn't find it, and I looked everywhere. No Cubans.
What do you mean? There
No
was
Cubans.
There was Cubans.
No, I didn't see any Cubans.
Dude,
No.
I'm sure there was Cubans there. I mean,
No, I walked around. There was a moment right before the show. I thought, got to find some Cubans. Nothing.
Dude, there's Cubans. There was Cubans. I'm sure there was Cubans.
In Las Vegas?
In Las Vegas.
No Cubans in Vegas.
There's Cubans in Vegas, man.
Eddie, there were no Cubans.
Chef.
The sandwich. There were no Cuban sandwiches. You're Cuban. Of course I know there were Cubans there.
Oh, the sandwich. Yeah, no, there probably wasn't many there in Vegas.
No Cubans.
No, not yet.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Here's what happens when we don't have bumper. I forget that we don't have bumper. So you get to hear me scrambling at the last second, go trying to grab my headset and get ready to roll. Well, I was going to go with ISF and solve for the future here, but I don't know if we're not doing that already. By the way, if we want to bring in Mike Tomkowitz, I see him. Are you ready, Mike? Wave your hands if you're ready. You're not ready. You're just listening. All right, he's ready. He says he's ready. So we're solving for the future thanks to my friends at ISF by bringing on a real attorney so you don't have to hear me pontificate as to what I think the judge's denial or whatever is, what it means, right? Let's have Mike do that. Mike, come on in here. Let's talk a little bit, buddy. How are you?
Hey, pretty good. How about you, Jeff?
I'm doing well. All right, so before I knew we were going to have you on, I tried to read, and I said, I'm not reading 76 pages. I got no chance to read 76 pages, but I know from you that motions are a high bar to dismiss, right? Like it's hard to get those dismissed, right? Am I right about that?
Yep, you're absolutely right. You just have to say the right things. They don't have to be true things. So you just have to allege what's necessary, and then you move past the motion to dismiss.
So the only other thing that I derived from this, and then I want you to just take it and run with it and tell us what it means, was that it seems to me, and I jotted this down in my notes here, that the court appeared to agree with the argument that the ACC's deal with ESPN that means that they had to protect the grant of rights, right? That they had to do, necessitating the suit. Is that right?
Yeah, the judge basically decides that they had a right to protect the ESPN confidentiality and whether or not they really had an obligation to do so. They had that right to do so, and therefore that's part of his basis for denying FSU's motion to dismiss.
Okay, now from there, I don't know a thing. That's all I had. Okay. So there you go. I've shot it. That's it. You got to tell me now. What does everything else appear to be to you?
From the 30,000 foot perspective, this is kind of exactly what we expected to happen here. FSU moved to dismiss, but I think that we talked about the last time that I was on that it was unlikely that we were really going to prevail here. That showed to be true. The court basically denied our motion to dismiss except for one ground. We got one ground kicked. We got one little smidgen of thing. Basically, the judge says that they haven't properly pled that the FSU is breaching its fiduciary duties against the ACC. So whether or not they get to refile, I actually haven't gotten through the whole thing because you guys notified me that you wanted me on about an hour ago. So I've been trying to go through it. But basically, the judge goes through 76 pages to deny our motion to dismiss, which is more than you typically see in a motion to dismiss. I think that the judge is really taking this seriously, and he wants to bend over backwards to say, look, I'm not just shilling for the ACC. I'm reasoning this out. I followed all the arguments. I'm going to cite what FSU's saying and exactly why I think they're wrong. So in going through it, you read it, and it's well reasoned, and some of it I think he gets right, and some of it I think is not so right. But, you know, he does the best that he can. He's a judge, and he's got to make a call one way or another, and both sides are very good and making good arguments. So it turned out exactly the way that we expected it to.
And we don't think that there will be an appeal, right? Because it's so thorough?
Right. Well, so it's a motion to dismiss. So when your motion to dismiss gets denied, you don't really get to appeal right away. You have to wait till the end of the matter in order to appeal a motion to dismiss. You can have an interlocutory appeal, but you have to prove things like irreparable harm, things that I don't think are at play here. So to have an appeal of the motion to dismiss is probably not going to be happening.
All right. So I guess So FSU has to answer right at some point, and they can, I guess, have counter complaints. Is that what they're called?
Yeah. So now they're going to have to respond to the First Amendment complaint, which the court says that was a ratification of the 2/3 majority rule that the ACC has to file the lawsuit against FSU. If you recall, we were saying it should be dismissed because they didn't follow the proper ACC procedure to file it. The court said that they ratified it by filing the First Amendment complaint, which was supported by 10 of the 15 members, 2/3 vote. Usually in the end of the order, you'd have some time period for FSU to file its answer, but it doesn't seem to say anything on that. So it'll be whatever North Carolina procedural rules are on when there's a denial of the motion to dismiss. The parties could also come up with some agreement. So I think that's also likely too. There's a lot going on in this complaint. It may be that FSU and the ACC talk and they say, let's give each other a month. FSU needs a month to be able to respond to what the ACC has alleged.
So we know this process is slow and it's going to get slower. And so what should all of my listeners and fellow Noles know about what this means in your opinion? Because we immediately, upon seeing that it was denied, had a bunch of people panicking on the boards and in my email inbox and on Twitter. And we said, look, reminder, my man Mike told you this was going to happen and that it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal, right?
It's not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. I have to parse through it a little bit more. The court cites a bunch of the allegations that the FSU, that the ACC has pled in its complaint. I'd like to see why it selected certain provisions or excluded others. That could be an indication as to what the court thinks about some of the things, but I haven't really had an opportunity to pore over it. But all hope is not lost. It's okay. We expected this result. At least we got something out of it. We got one of their counts dismissed. So I think that's kind of a win. It could be that the judge wanted to dismiss something so it looks more balanced and fair, that he didn't just flat out deny the motion dismissed by FSU. So I would tell all the listeners and the Noles on the board that this was an expected result. This is just the beginning of the battle here.
Good, sir. Thank you. I appreciate really, really quick turnaround by you. We asked you to read 76 pages in 10 minutes. It's not fair, but Mike Tomkowitz could do it because that's who he is. And he joined us on the Jeff Cameron Show. Thank you, Mike. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Appreciate it. You too. He is litigator, lawyer, shareholder, Gray Robinson Law Firm, and frequent expert guest on the Jeff Cameron Show because that's what we do. That's what we do. Mike knew. Lots of people were probably going to want to talk to him, but he's like, Cameron's producer, Tom Wayne, called. I got to answer this and get on the show.
When Tom calls, people pick up the phone. That's one thing that I achieve in my life. When I make a phone call, people pick up the phone. He was great about it. He said, I checked in with him earlier this hour. He's like, I'm getting there. I'm like, you can say that you haven't parsed through it all. It's okay. This is the world of radio. There's a construct here. But the thing is, since he called it and it wasn't a shocking ruling, since he assumed correctly of what was coming, I figured he could give us a general landscape view, which you certainly can without parsing over every word in a very dense document. I find it interesting, though, that he said that this is longer than a typical ruling in this case, which means that the judge wants it to be perfectly clear that he's not just
no, he's taking it very seriously, and he's not just partial, and
there's no I'm in somebody's pocket kind of energy here. Maybe that means that he's the North Carolina grad that really wants to ride the hell out of the ACC. Maybe he's riding that other side of the equation.
I wanted him to come on and assure people something I said and I knew to be true, but it's more authoritative when it comes from him, like an actual lawyer. That this wasn't that big of a deal. We saw it coming and we knew it was going to happen. And I did know a few things about that. I knew the motion to dismiss is a high bar. It doesn't happen. And that's why I used that phrase and said some other things there that sounded lawyerly because that's what I do. But I wanted him to then provide the real expertise, which I think he did. And he did so on one of our greatest segments and with one of our greatest collaborators, and that is ISF. And we appreciate ISF. You want to do amazing things. We all do, right? ISF is an IT and strategy firm. They've been doing this for over 40 years. They do it nationwide from right here in little old Tallahassee, Florida. That's a cool thing. And they help state governments and business clients across the nation. Basically, they become, by solving the future through strategy, process, and technology, your right-hand man to make state agencies like yours more efficient, save money, and at the end of the day, do a better job. ISF, we appreciate you, baby. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Greg Tish here to share one of my favorite TCC stories. In the summer of 1966, Eugene Lamb wanted to stay in shape before leaving to play college basketball in Louisiana. So he jogged to Tallahassee from his home in Midway and helped lay the bricks for the first building on what's now the TCC campus on Appleyard Drive. Today, he is a longtime member of the TCC District Board of Trustees. It's no exaggeration when we say Trustee Lamb helped build TCC into what it is today.
TCC thanks our community for 58 years of support. We look forward to moving into the future together.
Tallahassee is full of rich history and traditions. When you think of things that jump out in the minds of longtime residents, the state capitol, McClay Gardens, the Springtime Tallahassee Parade, FSU and FAMU Sports, the St. Mark's Lighthouse, St. George Island, and Paul's Termite and Pest Control. Paul's has been protecting thousands of people, their pets, their homes, and their lawns in the capital region for over 50 years. Locally founded and still locally owned and operated. There aren't many businesses in our industry that keep it together that long. Paul's Pest Control has many customers we've been honored to serve for over the last 50 years. We've experienced tremendous changes in how we treat homes and protect the people that live there. We've moved from liquid termite treatments that require drilling into the home's foundation to Centricon, a baiting system which works with their natural biology. We've moved from interior service to exterior treatments for general pests. But one thing we're not going to change is our old-fashioned commitment to personal service for each of our customers, the same way we've been doing it for over 50 years.
For the elimination of termites, any other pests, and a greener lawn too,
call Paul's.
We'll get them all.
This is Jamie McClenney with Trek Financial in Tallahassee. Despite the highest global interest rates in almost 2 decades, inverted yield curves, conflicts in the Middle East, and 3 of the largest bank failures in U.S. history, equities and bond markets have posted stellar returns for 2023. The Dow Jones, the NASDAQ 100, and the Russell 2000 all reached new highs as markets rallied on the expectations of Fed pauses, debt easing, and Fed bank bailouts. Markets are going to do what markets are going to do, but a clearly defined risk management protocol can help to mitigate large drawdowns in your retirement nest egg. If you're concerned where all this might be headed, call me at 850-900-5200 and let's talk about ways to mitigate the risk in your portfolio.
Make Jamie your first call for that second opinion. Investment advisory services offered through Trek Financial LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
What will the Noles do to follow up and unconquer 2023? Warchant.com, the market leader in FSU football and sports coverage, is the place to find out. Join the largest FSU fan community and talk Seminoles sports in Warchant's Travel Council and premium recruiting message board forum. Enjoy cutting-edge team coverage led by managing editor Ira Schofel and lead writer Corey Clark, and inside scoops on the transfer portal and recruiting classes with Michael Langston and Matt Lassere. Backed by the best national recruiting network and On 3, there's no debate. Warchant.com's your ultimate Seminole sports source. Sign up today.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Didn't get me. I was ready, buddy. I was ready, figuring it out. Tom, are your Mets about to break through in the win column? We got a 3-3 game in the bottom of the 9th. Let's go, Mets.
3-1 in the 7th in our favor. So it's been a slow bleed here. We'll see. We'll see. Hey, the good news today so far, we got a double dip, single admission. Not that that matters to me. I'm here. But we had a 19-inning scoreless streak snapped, man.
That's good. That's good of you to score for the first time in over 19 innings. Yeah.
And it really was 60 outs, so it was about 20 innings when you span the episode. We're getting there. We're getting there slowly.
We'll see. Let's see if they can get a win. It's 3-3, bottom of the 9th. Game 2 starts a little bit later on this afternoon. So there you go. You got time. You finish the show. Get in the car. Make it happen. Get on the ferry and go on over, buddy.
No, the ferry doesn't go that way. The ferry would take me 2 hours to do it that way. But if I get in the car, this is actually not a bad time. All you got to do is dodge some school buses, and you can get out there in about 35, 40 minutes. It's not too bad.
Buddy, I'd do it. I would do it. Maybe if you lose this game, you need to do it. So if you lose this one that you're tied in right now, you need to go to the second one.
Do I bring my laptop so I can help out with post-practice work? Like
You can. I'm sure Citi Field is accommodating.
It's empty is what it is today. It's super empty. Now, I could go and ask for press credentials so I can cover DJ Stewart and say, hey, look, we got a Knowles angle. I could do it that way.
How's DJ doing? Well, probably not good. Nobody on the Mets is hitting, so there you go.
No, not very good at all. Although, let's see. Yeah, he went 0 for 2 today in the 9 holes of the DH and was pinch hit for. So, yeah.
Time is up almost for DJ, I think, unfortunately for him.
He had a run last year of about 7 weeks where he opts 875, 880. I mean, he was on fire, playing a good right field for us, too. So that might just be it, unfortunately.
We will do probables shortly. You guys will be kicked on out of here is what's going to happen because we like to play our Ambrosia or others, and YouTube will have none of it. You can listen to probables, however, if you'd like. RealTalk93.com. Listen live. Click on that listen live and make it happen. You like that? Yeah, I remembered. I didn't remember at all. You put it in the chat, but I appreciate that. There you go. RealTalk93.com. Listen live. All right. Get out of here, YouTubers.